Hello, entrepreneurs. Well, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, I truly believe this. You must become a lifelong learner, and lifelong learners read. The most successful entrepreneurs I know don't just read for information. They read to sharpen their mindset and strengthen their skills and learn all those strategies they can apply directly to their business. So, in today's Read Along with Entrepreneurs episode, I'm going to share with you my 10 reading rules for entrepreneurs. They're really simple, but they're powerful rules that I think will help you read with intention and retain what you learn and in turn books into real business growth. Hey there, I'm Gale and welcome to my channel. And here I interview entrepreneurs from around the globe who work from home. And my goal for this channel is to become a trusted resource for entrepreneurs who want to grow with clarity, confidence, and consistency, and learn from other entrepreneurs. Because if you've been watching, I also have a series on entrepreneurs who work from home where I interview entrepreneurs around the world. So I'd love it if you would take a minute to subscribe to the channel. You just have to tap that bell so you never miss an episode. So let's talk about reading rules for entrepreneurs, because reading rules aren't about reading more books. They're about reading better. Because I want to help you learn the frameworks that you can apply immediately from reading a book. I want to help you improve your productivity and focus, because especially if you consider some of my book recommendations, and because I know that they will help you understand marketing, psychology, and even decision making. But ultimately, they're going to help you run your business more intentionally. So here are my 10 reading rules that guide how I read as an entrepreneur, and you might want to write them down. So reading rule number 1 is to read when you retain best. And what that basically means is to read nonfiction, books that help you, and I call them business books, when your brain is most alert. And for me, that's actually part of my morning routine. That's when my mind is fresh, I'm focused, and I'm more open to learning. So when you read during your peak energy time, for you, you have to figure that out. You retain more and you're more likely to apply what you learn. So I want you to think about this. I want you to identify your best learning window and protect it. That's going to be your time to read as we move into the new year. Okay, reading rule number 2, read every day. Even if it's just a little bit. This is the consistency. So my personal goal is 10 pages a day. And actually, I recommend this to all my coaching clients. And once they get into the rhythm of this, they love it. But, most nonfiction books are about 150 to 200 pages, which means 10 pages a day, you could finish a book in 15 to 20 days. That's about 1 book a month. And that's 12 books a year. And that means you will not feel overwhelmed. So when you focus on daily progress, like 10 pages a day, it's not speed, it's retention and learning all these new ideas and tips from experts, which I love. Reading rule number 3, schedule reading into your calendar. When reading is scheduled like an appointment, it becomes non-negotiable, right? If it's not on your calendar, it's just easy for the day to slip away. So this is when you're treating your business like a business and you're meeting with yourself. And it will really help you be consistent with your reading. Reading rule number 4 is to choose the right reading environment. What does that mean? Well, it means where you read matters, because it's finding that place where you feel calm, where you're comfortable, and you can be focused, right? It could be your favorite chair. It could be a quiet nook or even your bed. Add a favorite drink and just remove all those distractions. When you have your reading space, that's when your brain associates with focus. Okay, reading rule number 5. Take notes and write things down, because this is the best way to learn from what you read. Now, I take notes by hand. I used to highlight pages, then I moved to Post-its. Now I keep a dedicated notebook. I call it my reading journal, where I write those ideas, those insights, and sometimes I'll add the page numbers so I can quickly go back and reread for reference. But when I finish the book, I actually type those notes into my computer. And suddenly I have a personal reference guide for every book that I can revisit anytime. This really, really helps me with retention. Okay, reading rule number 6, listen to books, right? Audiobooks absolutely count, especially when you can focus. For some people, auditory learning is their skill. Now, I often listen to books on my early morning walks. And the key is choosing those moments when you can truly absorb the information, right? Not when your mind's distracted. Okay, so reading rule number 7 is to always carry a book. There's really hidden reading time everywhere you go. And I always have a book with me, whether it's a book on my computer or in my phone, or it's a physical book. I always have a book with me. So think about it. How many times have you been in a doctor's or dentist's waiting room, right? Or waiting for that hair appointment where the minutes add up? I often squeeze in 10 pages during moments that would otherwise be wasted scrolling. Reading is better than scrolling. So my tip is to turn that waiting time that you have in your life into reading and learning time. Okay, reading rule number 8. Recommend books to other entrepreneurs. That's what I'm doing here with you today. Books are meant to be shared. One book I read every year, and I recommend it to so many people, is Napoleon Hill's classic on positive thinking and success principles. It's called Think and Grow Rich. And if you haven't read that book, make it just number 1 on your New Year list. Even if you've read it, I recommend you read it again. But discussing books with other entrepreneurs really deepens your understanding and builds connection. A lot of time, I love to start conversations around books because it really builds great rapport and deepens relationships, especially when you're getting to know people, especially at networking groups or even online groups. Okay, reading rule number 9, stop reading books that don't resonate. How many times do you struggle to finish a book because it's just not resonating, even though it's being recommended to you by so many people? Life's too short. I really believe this. And a book that doesn't speak to you, just stop reading it. Not every book is for everyone. And if it's not resonating, let it go without guilt. You have my permission. Okay, reading rule number 10. Use libraries and free resources. You don't have to buy every book. Your local library is a treasure. And there are also free digital libraries like Libby, which connects directly to your library's collection. So don't make the cost of a book a barrier to your learning. There you have it. My 10 reading rules that you can apply as you move into the new year. So as we do move into 2026, I want to challenge you to create an intentional reading list. We like to call it the TBR list because it can be a game changer in helping you grow and learn to become a better entrepreneur and a better person, especially when you apply these 10 rules consistently to your business and your personal growth. So I just want to share with you my TBR list for the first half of 2026. Firstly, I'm going to read Daily Rituals by Mason Curry. I'm really anxious to read this because it's a fascinating look at the habits of writers, artists, philosophers, and creators, and how routines can really shape your success. Now, the next book I'm going to read is called The Routine Building Handbook by Ashley Brown. This is a short book, a practical all-in-one guide to building habits that support productivity and focus. And then I'm up to reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. I've had this book on my shelf actually for a year, and it's that classic book that I'm sure maybe you read or everyone's read on building good habits and breaking bad ones through small, sustainable changes. I'm looking forward to writing notes from this book. The next book is on my TBR list is The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Now, this is a reread for me. I think he is such a force for entrepreneurs, and this book is a bold perspective on effort, mindset, and taking massive action. So I'm really looking forward to this reread because it's good to go back and reread things, okay? And then this is one I've had for a little while as well called The No BS Guide to Direct Response Social Media Marketing by Dan Kelly and Kim Walsh-Phillips. And this is kind of a tactical guide to marketing with clarity and intention. And marketing kind of is a focus on my vision board this year. I really want to learn more about this very essential part of entrepreneurship. Okay, so there you have it. Reading has shaped every season of my entrepreneurial journey, and it continues to be one of the most powerful tools that I rely on. So if you'd like help creating your own reading plan, I've created a free downloadable TBR list for you. It's called My Top 5 Book Recommendations for Entrepreneurs by 5 key categories. These categories are productivity, business, mindset, finance, relationships, and health and fitness, all important areas of entrepreneurship. You'll find the download link in the description below. Now, if this video inspired you, I'd love you to hit that subscribe button. And I want you to let me know in the comments below, what book has influenced your business the most? Give us some ideas on other books for other entrepreneurs that have been an inspiration for you as an entrepreneur. Thanks for reading along with me, and I'll see you on the next episode.